Tim Tebow fans are not quite ready to accept that their hero is no longer playing in the NFL. I'm Jim Basquill with the latest ESPN headlines. This time it isn't just a casual fan, but a golf pro who wonders why the hometown Jacksonville Jaguars will not give Tebow a shot. Dewey Arnette has worked with the likes of Patrick Harrington and Darren Clark, but his focus these days is on the gridiron, which is why he bought an ad in Monday's edition of the Florida Times-Union. Darren Rovell covers sports business for ESPN and joins us with more. Darren, why did he spend $1,200 for this advertisement?
Well, Dewey kind of told me that he's not the kind of guy that does this type of stuff. But over the past 6 weeks, he's a Jacksonville resident and just kind of got into it. And some of his contacts suggested that, who had known NFL players, spoke to NFL players, that Tim Tebow was better than people thought he was, or deserved more credit, and that he's more serviceable and can potentially lead to some wins for the 1-9 Jaguars. So he put his money where his mouth is, and did a whole bunch of stuff, including some billboards, some planes with banners on it, radio ads on 3 radio stations, and just did this ad. And we didn't know, and he didn't reveal himself until we asked the ad department, who is this? And then today he just said, hey, this is me behind all this stuff.
Yeah, the message, Dear Mr. Khan, talking about the owner, Shahid Khan, signed Tim Tebow, and we will fill the stadium. The ad is signed by the citizens of Jacksonville. And as you mentioned, Arnette has spent money on the radio ads, the billboards, handed out T-shirts. He's been behind this recent movement backing Tebow. To this niche of passionate fans, why is Tim Tebow's employment status so important?
Well, I think it's that they just want to have some joy. And, the team looks at it from what's the immediate standpoint versus what's the long-term vision and future. And it seems pretty clear that Jacksonville is going to draft a quarterback or draft a quarterback pretty early on in the upcoming draft. So, but I think you have the passion for Tim Tebow. Went to Florida, native son of Jacksonville. It just seems like a marketing no-brainer. And, but the team looks at that as cheap, and Dewey knows that this is really not going to change anything. But I think he just felt like he needed to put it out there, put pressure, and, hey, more people are talking about Tim Tebow again today.
That's true. It appears, though, as long as Arnette had the money to spend, his consistent message was getting out. What guidelines do the newspaper or radio stations have regarding accepting ads?
Well, their guidelines are their own personal guidelines. The only time where it gets really hairy is when you have a radio station that's the official radio station. I'm pretty sure that the Times-Union has something with the Jaguars, considering they're really the only big paper in town. But, probably not enough for the Jaguars to kind of, they're butting up against freedom of speech here. So not enough to stop him, at any point. Now, if you were on the Jaguars grounds and handing out flyers close to the stadium or in the stadium, I think that would be a different story.
He's ESPN business reporter Darren Rovell. Darren, thanks for the insight.
Thanks, Jim.
Tebow won the Heisman Trophy in 2007 while at the University of Florida, and he did play his high school ball in Jacksonville. He recently signed with CAA Broadcasting in an attempt to figure out a possible future on air. You can read more about this story right here on ESPN.com, but with the latest ESPN headlines, I'm Jim Basquill.